Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to another book session review, and this again, I guess what I do nowadays for book review is just review Disney books because those are the ones that interest me. And this book specifically, something I never heard of, some books to read. Welcome to clicking this video. So let me just help you out with this book. So the book we're going to be reviewing, read this how we're going to be reviewing Happily Ever After by, what's her name? Cestari? I'm so bad with like names and stuff, but Cestari. So this is Happily Ever After, the book. And again, some of you probably never heard of this, but I never honestly heard of this book until I went to my local Max Robbins in Canada. It's basically Barnes and Nobles here, basically. So anyway, so I was just, walking around the bookstore while wait. I don't know what movie I was watching around that time. I think it's probably Black Panther. I forgot. That was a long time ago. So anyway, so I was just like hesitant because again, I never heard of this book, and like the plot really triggered me. It's one of those books where I'm not really sure, like it's very risky, and also the book covers kind of, what really interests me. I was hesitant at first when I grabbed this copy of the book. I think just the premise itself and like the idea of it really intrigued me, so I got it, and the price is not bad. It's only like $23.99 because it's like a young adult book genre. It's not bad, so I'm like, okay, I'll just, I'll take a look at it. I was very excited to look forward to reading it, and there was not a lot of like book reviews about this book. Even on TikTok there's like a few, but not everybody's like really like talking about it. So let me be the one to bring this out to you, and I can say this is such a great like escape, especially when you're reading during the winter time. So it's like a tropical setting. It's also a great summer reading too anyway. So yeah, again, that's how I discovered every book. I was like, what the hell is this? And then and then I got it. This will be a non-spoiler review, so there won't be any spoilers for the book. Let's get right into it. Here's the book, beautiful cover. So it has the two main characters. This one is Madison. What's the other girl's name? Lani. This one's Lani. And look how beautiful the island is. So it has like Happily Ever After Island, so you can get a sense of the vibe of this island. Here's like the book cover. I look how it's orange, yellow, and a little bit of red. It's very tropical. And here's what it sold me. It has like the map of the island. As you can see over here, it's very Disney princess centric. So we'll get into the plot of the book, or the story, which will have chapter stamped below. So I like how yellow it is. It's so pretty. This is the book cover, and this is how it looks like in the inside, and you can see who she is. And if you guys are wondering, it looks like, I love how every chapter, for example, has like a Disney reference. I don't get the arrow, but the arrow reference. I mean, not arrow. It has like chapters for the two characters, because the arrow is a reference to like, it's a hint of like what character we're playing. I'll get into the plot of the book. It's very pretty. What sold me is this freaking like map and stuff. And I'll get into it. This is how she looks like, because you're wondering who the hell does Crystal look like. This is her, and I think this is her first Disney book, whatever. A great premise. So anyway, this is the little book cover review. So let's talk about the story. If you guys are wondering what the hell is Happily Ever After Island all about, so let me read it for you. So it says, starts here, welcome to Happily Ever After, the most pixie dust vacation a Disney fan could ever imagine, period. Heads in the clouds. So long story short, so it's about these two, these are the two main characters. Madison, she is the big Disney stan. She loves this. She's like us, like a Disney adult stan. And this is Lani. I think her name is, Lani. She is a polar opposite non-Disney stan. So they're both not in high school. They're in college or university, but in the book they call it university. And so they got invited, or she entered actually, to this contest where it's so rare to go to this island, this Disney island, which is basically Disney parks, basically. This island, obviously she won. I think she broke up with her girlfriend or something. Yeah, she's LGBT, and so we'll get into her character. And so they got invited to this island. Once they enter this island, a bunch of drama happens. One of them finds love, and the other one is slowly becoming into a Disney fan, sort of, kind of. And a bunch of, trouble happens in the island. So it's a little like girls trip. It's how I describe the genre. It's like, it's a coming of age story. It's a very, very coming of age age story, a little bit of rom-com, and it's like girls trip meets like a early 2000 Disney Channel, maybe a little bit Disney Channel, but a little bit like it's very rom-com, LGBT rom, a little bit like Heartstopper. No, I guess so, a little bit like Heartstopper a bit, because you know, so she fell in one of the staff there, and like, yeah, so it's a little bit of rom-com. And yes, the thing that really sold me is that it's very LGBT focused. Like, I love how this book, especially Disney, because Disney's not really good at like representing LGBT yet. They're slowly getting into there, but this is silent. No, they're not. They're not. I wish they were couples. They're not really, you know, couples and stuff. And yeah, it's very LGBT, which I really like. That's the thing that really sold me. I think I have so many books that are like LGBT focused and stuff. And again, I really love the world building. Like, the world building is amazing. As you can see over here, and pause and see how the island looks like. It's like Disney princess, not Raya, because at that time, I think when she's writing, she wasn't an official Disney princess yet, but it has like all the Disney princess. Again, the world building is very similar to the Disney parks, basically, but with no rides. It's kind of like, how to describe the island? It's like a Disney, it's like you're entering into 11 princesses worlds, all collines. So it's a little bit like Main Street, the beginning of it, and then later as you go, they're including the Frozen's franchise too with this book. You're basically entering into the world of the Disney princesses, which is very like nice, and I want to go there myself too. I wish this can happen in real life, honestly. Or again, I loved it. I love the illustration of the map, and obviously when I was reading in the book, I really love like looking at the map to see like, oh, they are in this location, oh, they are in this location, which is very like, I love doing that. I just love like looking where they are and like see how they look like, you know, like which princess movie they are in. Again, I mean, this is more like a concept. I'll just say it right now because I put it in my notes. It's that I see, like, we've seen these types of like story tropes before. These like type of like cliche and stuff. Like, one is an obsessive fan, one is not really an obsessive fan, and there's lots of like tropes. There's lots of like movies about, lots of stories about where the main character goes to another like universe or something like that, and then they kind of like recreate the iconic moments, which I'll get into, which is honestly one of my favorite parts of the book. Yeah, and honestly, this book is very character development, story focused. For example, like Madison at the beginning of the book doesn't know, like a normal like college problem where she doesn't know who she is, and she doesn't know, time is running out, she doesn't know like what she wants to do for the rest of her life, and it's a very character developed story, and at the end you'll find out like what her happiness is. Same thing with Lonnie and stuff. She's Asian, focusing like the similar like Asian problems where like she's lying to her like parents or mom about like her being a doctor and stuff, and like, you know, focusing so much on academics, not where she doesn't know how to have fun or relax and stuff. And yeah, focus a lot on these two characters. And I love how this book, I'll give you, it's a little reflection or like a little like behind the scenes of like what you can imagine what it's like working the Disney parks, because they do talk about like the behind the scenes moments, especially when they are able to recreate certain like Disney moments in the book. Obviously, what I love about this book is like how they, as I said earlier, they love including the main focus on this island. So when you go to this island, it's kind of like Disney bounding, where they have to dress up as their favorite character. You have to choose which character they reflect who they are as a person, and once they are that character, they basically live out like that. I'm not gonna spoil which character they chose. They kind of give you a hint if you know. So they kind of like live as that character. What I love about that is like they kind of give their own reflection, their own like, damn, this character, like for example, like Snow White, it must be so hard to like run around all the time, or like, you know, like a little, I love the little commentary. Obviously they did tackle upon like Disney princess problems and just normal like a little like meta humor and stuff, so I really love the commentary of the Disney brand and Disney princesses too specifically. So there's that. It's a little bit like Disney bounding, like adult. So that's a little bit review of the story. So it's a very like coming of age story, a little bit of character development, very character driven type of story. So here is the problem as I expected to come with this book. So yes, it's a little bit cringy with the writing style of this book. Feels like I'm reading a fan fiction, kind of. It's a good one, it's an intriguing idea, but it just wasn't like, it's not like a normal like typical book. It just feels like a Disney fan is writing a book and there was no like her like somebody's not pre-reading and not like editing and forget like how to write like a professional. I mean, it's okay. This is just the style of this book, honestly. And I feel like for non-Disney fans, this might be a hard to read. However, if you're a non-Disney fan, if you don't really get us, this book might help you understand what it's like or what are the struggles, what it's like being a Disney adult. So there's that. If you're very like curious about it, you know, there's that. This might be a hard read. And my only problem is that there was no like big bad villain. There was no like big bad. I feel like there should be one to create more stakes of the problem. But I guess for this story, it doesn't need one. But I wish there was one. But you know. And my only problem is that I feel like they should not focus more on the Disney Princess. I feel like Disney Princess Island will be a lot more easy as a writer to write versus like, because Disney has so many like characters where like some fans are like, what about this character? What about this character? So I guess it's easy to focus on like a specific franchise of the Disney brand. Maybe in the next book, if this becomes like a franchise kind of, like a book series, maybe she can do like a Naked Island for Disney villains specifically. But this was focused more on the princesses, so they can focus on other like non-Disney princess character, but like I don't know how they will do that, but there's that. And I can say sometimes the makers can be annoying, sometimes specifically Madison, because like she really is a big Disney stan and she really does have commitment issues. That's the problem with this book. Like she's really like excited for this book, but then sometimes Nanny can be like a little bit downer, where like, why are you even in this script if you don't, you know? But she's such a good friend, but then she picks up once the story goes along. And I said it's like you're reading a fan fiction. And again, I wish that we would explore more on some parts of this. I'm not gonna spoil which part of the island because I want you to experience it for yourself, but obviously I wish they would explore more on the other islands. Obviously they focus more on the islands that these characters like chosen and stuff. And the character, at first I was like skeptical, why would they choose this princesses? But then like once you go deep into the character story and reflect like where they are in their real life or their desires and personality, it kind of makes sense why they reflect a lot with these characters. So there is that. So overall, it's such like a fun book to read. It's a good easy read. It's a good like escape book specifically for big Disney stans like me. I think this, yeah, as I said, this book is meant for all Disney fans. It's meant for Disney adults specifically that just loves going to the theme parks and loves Disney princesses. This book is meant for you. And again, I think it's I don't regret like getting it myself. I think it's worth the purchase if you. Also great for the collection too. I love the world building. Again, as I said, this book gives you a sense of idea what it's like being a Disney adult. It's kind of like you get some representation since nobody doesn't really talk about makes content. I mean, right now we're slowly getting a trend of like Disney making like content about Disney adults. For example, the I Love Disney line, it's about like Disney adults, like Disney bounding. This is a great like surprise and stuff. And the reading pace, I gotta say, is medium pace because sometimes I have to take a break between reads, so you can possibly binge read it if you want, but I feel like this is more like a medium read. It's not like a slow pace read. It's a very like medium read. And I really love the third act, especially with Madison's character. It's just very like, I can just picture it in my head and how beautiful it is. And yeah. And at the end of the day, there's just some books where this is meant to be a Disney Plus. I fear that I feel like this author like wrote this book to hopefully be popular to the point where Disney might adapt like, I think Disney should adapt a series or a movie or maybe an animation. I think this might work as a movie honestly than a series. Maybe a series might have worked, but probably a movie like with this book adaptation, and this would be great. I feel like the genre can be a little bit like a live action Disney Channel original movie, but kind of like Disney Plus movie level. I feel like Disney should adapt this book because it's such a great like, and this is what Disney is missing. Other than Disenchanted wasn't like really a big hit as unlike what we expected it to be, but I feel like this might be the one. I feel like Disney should adopt, and this will be great for the LGBT plus romance. And I think this will be such a great Disney Plus content. Let me know comments below what you think of this book. Have you read it? Now interested to reading it after watching this review? Are you a Disney adult yourself, and what it feels like being a Disney adult? So if you guys enjoyed this book review, if you do like it, please don't forget to give a very big thumbs up and subscribe. I enjoy like reviewing this book so much and spreading it to the world, and hope to see you all next time. Okay, see y'all. If it's spoiled, please make sure you mark smaller down below, whoever's watching this video. Okay, see y'all. Okay, bye. Poof. Her story felt a little bit too quick. They're just there and stuff. Like, I understand. Oh, wait, that's it? Okay.